These days it seems like nutrition is one of the hardest things to get a handle on. In this video, I'm going to try to break it down into something simple. Hi, I'm Jason Pierce. I'm a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. Today I'm going to look at a simple way to approach nutrition that will hopefully help you start on a path to losing weight. And the reason I'm looking at nutrition now is that my new program, Transform Your Health and Fitness in 1 Year, starts with eating more protein as the first step. We're going to break down what that looks like, how to eat more protein, and just what nutrition in general should be. Before we go there, I just want to talk about subscribing to this channel. What that means simply is that you click that subscribe button down below, and all that happens is my videos will now show up more in your feed. That's all. But for me, what it does is it tells YouTube that people are interested in this content. And the more people that are interested, the more YouTube sees interaction with you, the better the channel will do, and the more it will grow. And so it's a simple thing you can do to help me grow this channel. I appreciate it. Thank you. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at the basics of nutrition. We're going to look at a way to calculate what your current nutrition looks like. And then we're going to look at a way to track what you're eating and how to slightly tweak that. 3 simple steps. First, Nutrition 101. Nutrition is broken into macronutrients and micronutrients. We're going to ignore the micronutrients right now. Those are like vitamins, minerals, things like that. And you might have heard fitness people say, I'm tracking my macros. What that means is they're tracking their macronutrients. And there are 3 macronutrients. You've got your fats, you've got your carbohydrates, and you got your protein. Now, we need all of these things. They all do something very good for our bodies. Fat is energy storage, and it also offers insulation for our bodies to keep us warmer and protects our organs. Where we get into trouble with fat is when we get too much of it and it sticks around and it goes into bad places. That's called visceral fat, and we don't want that. Fats are things like nuts, oils, seed oils, olive oil, things like that are high in fat and good fat. Carbohydrates are instant energy. This is what you use if you sprint. That is an instant burn that your body can use to get you into a high state of activity. Pastas, sugars, grains, bread, all that are carbs, carbohydrates. And again, carbohydrates, we need them to exist, to even function at just a basic level. You need carbohydrates. But again, if you have too many of them, they just hang out and they turn into fat. Carbs and fat, if they are not used for the energy, they stick around in our systems. And this is where things can get dicey. This is why you gain weight. This is why visceral fat shows up. And that is not good. And the third macronutrient is protein. Protein is used to build systems, mostly muscle, but other things as well. Protein comes into our body and it is used as a building block for our bodies. Protein is meat, nuts, lentils, soy. Now, the thing that's different about protein from the other two is that you ingest it, it either does its job or it exits your body. A hack for losing weight without radically changing your diet is to simply eat more protein. Because, like I said, protein comes into our bodies and it's either used to build muscle and other things or it leaves the body. But it's also incredibly filling. So if you eat more protein, you will eat less carbs and fat, simply because it fills you up. 2 eggs if you eat 1 egg, or 3 eggs if you eat 1 egg, or 2 pieces of chicken if you usually have 1. You want to make sure that this is all lean, good proteins. Lean red meats, chicken, fish is great, and again, you've got your soy, your beans, lentils, avocados, things that are full of protein that you can eat that are more healthy than, say, a fatty cut of red meat. So now we're going to go into part 2 of this, which is finding out how many calories we need. So this is called the BMR, basal metabolic rate, which is, again, one of these clunky terms. All it means is your BMR is the amount of calories you need to ingest to simply exist. So if you didn't exercise, if you didn't do anything, how many calories do you need to maintain your current weight? So how do you find this out? Well, fortunately, there's calculators online that you can use. I'm going to link to one. I'm just going to walk you through how you enter things into it. First of all, you put your name, you put your age, your weight, and your height in there. And those things are all part of the equation. So after you put those basic things in there, you'll see a number. So mine is about 1,900 calories per day is what I should be eating. Now, then the next thing it asks you is how active are you? I'm just going to put moderately active in here and see that it changes again. Now it wants me to have 2,500 calories. Now, the more active you are, the more calories you're going to need. So then the next question is, what is your weight loss goal if you have one? If you got a goal, put it in here. So I'm going to put mine down to 162 from 170. Say I want to do that in 3 months. So 180 days. And it gives you a ratio of what you should be doing, carbs, fats, and proteins, for a default diet or high protein diet. And now it shows me another set of numbers. And you'll see up top there's one number, and at the bottom there's another number, 2,300 calories. This number is what I should be ingesting every day if I want to lose weight and I'm moderately active. All right, so now we've got some actual data we can use. I should be getting this much protein. Okay, now how do I know how much protein I'm getting? Well, there's a couple ways of doing this. You can simply look at packaging and it'll show you on the label how much protein something is, and you can track it that way. It's easier to use an app. Now, I find using apps to be a bit of a slog, and I think most people do. But you only have to do it for a couple of weeks, and then you'll have an idea of where you are. So this is an app that I like. Some of the things I like about this app are there's a barcode scanner which makes inputting things very easy. It remembers what you've put in there. So if you always have eggs for breakfast, it will always pop eggs up for breakfast. You can build recipes, so like a smoothie. You can put all the ingredients in once and then save it as a recipe and name it whatever you want. And then when you have a smoothie, you can just bring that in without having to put in all the ingredients. There's also recipes in here that are built in you can just kind of use to get a general idea of what you've been eating. The other great thing about this app is that it will remind you to fill things in, but once you decide you've got enough data, like I said, after 2 or 3 weeks, you probably have enough information that you can stop using it. It will remind you for a couple of days, and then it'll stop reminding you. So it just sort of gives up when it realizes you're not interested anymore, which is awesome. But it saves all your data, so when you bring it back up again in a month or so just to see where you're at, all your stuff's still in there. Awesome. Another great thing about this app is that you can see the summary, as I'm showing you here, and it breaks it down in a nice little chart and also in a what looks like a nutrition label. And it shows you how much protein you've got, how much fat, how much carbs. So you can see right away where you're at. So now you take that number and you compare it to your BMR number, and okay, maybe I need to eat more protein. So you'll be able to tell, based on doing this for a couple of weeks, what your protein intake is. You've got your BMR number, so now you can help to guide yourself towards eating more protein that way. Just to summarize one more time, we've got what nutrition is, our 3 macros. Protein is the one that we want to increase because it will help us decrease the other 2. Use the BMR calculator to figure out how many calories you need to be eating. And then use a tracking app to see where you are in those goals. And again, you only have to do that for a couple of weeks. This is a great way to see where you are, where you're heading, and to have some really hard data to help you out. Another just basic thing about nutrition is we want to eat healthy foods as much as possible. What does that look like? So it means fruits, vegetables, lean meats. And a simple way to really eat healthier is to shop the perimeter of the grocery store. On the perimeter is where you've got your produce section, where you got your dairy section, and your meat and deli sections. So all of that is fresher food. Then once you go down the aisle, that's where all the processed foods are. So you want to avoid processed foods as much as possible and stick with the perimeter as much as possible. I've also made a recent YouTube video about the made whole cookbooks, and these are amazing ways to get really tasty food that is really good for you. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful. Hope it wasn't too overwhelming. Again, like and subscribe, tell your friends about this channel, and as usual, stay healthy.